Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming, and this is The Walking Dead Season 9 Comic-Con live update videos. So we're going to be talking about the sneak peek of the trailer. Came out a little bit earlier today. Some of the scenes from that we have up on the screen, so we're definitely going to analyze that information. And also, we have a few people at the San Diego Comic-Con as well, so we're going to be talking about what's going on there. Looking forward to all your chat, all your participation. Appreciate all of you being here tonight. And I see got a few people starting to filter in. I think the topic everybody wants to talk about is Jerry. So we won't break into it just yet. Because I think everybody, most of the comments on the video, of all the relationships, of all the things we predicted, I know a couple people saw some of this coming, but is this probably not the most shocking that they would roll out with? I mean, we've talked about maybe Jesus and Aaron, and we've talked about, could Daryl, Carol and Ezekiel, but now we got, I think it is, how do we say it, Nabila and Jerry. So, that took up a good portion of the video, literally and time-wise. So, thanks everybody for being here. Bumblebee Brown in the house, a few other people. I know it's good stuff, but some of the other comments that have come up have been the road signs. We're going to talk about that today, and we're also going to. I know. Chosen One. That was not my best work there. But Maggie's got a new look. Rosita has a similar look, but changing her style a little bit. But does have a little bit of that focus. Daryl has got some fisticuffs going on. And I'm just going to throw it out to the group because I want to know what the 999 Army thinks right now. What was was there a shocking moment? And it was only about 20 seconds, maybe 25 seconds in the sneak peek trailer. I'm really looking forward to the longer version of it tomorrow. So David Brooks thinks Rosita might be pregnant in her character, yes. Because of time skip, you never know. It'd be interesting to see. Now, if Rosita were pregnant, and I don't want to get that out there as a spoiler yet, it's a year and a half, so it would have happened behind the scenes. Who could it be? We're probably getting too far ahead of that one. Maybe it's just, she's got on some bulky gear. There you go, Fluff. I see where you're going with that. Not Daryl. They're in different communities. Not Daryl. Not going to happen. I'm just reading through some of the comments. Very interesting stuff at this point. So we do have an inside source. As you guys can see, we got Walking Dead Nerd, who is actually at Comic-Con San Diego. It's about 6:30 there, so a lot of stuff going on. So I will relay a little bit of information. And she is repping the 999 Army shirt. So we're starting to get a little bit of international and national credibility. We've had Hippo, now we got Walking Dead Nerd. So next Walking Dead event, Walker Stalker, make sure you guys jump in there and pick up some 999 gear and talk about it. Or make your own. Draw it on a t-shirt, whatever works. So we've got HQ. So I don't, Spaz, I don't know if I agree with that. Okay, no, I do agree with that. You're right. Sorry, I just saw it scroll up really quickly. HQ has got to be Hilltop. And kingdom, you think kingdom might be renamed as Toledo? Huh. Now, would that mean that Ezekiel is no longer the king? Are we going to see... Okay, hold on, before we get all the Commonwealth stuff. Toledo has to be in the second time jump. So, I'm not saying that it's not an Easter egg, because if it's in Ohio and Commonwealth is in there, but could that be one of those red herrings that's out there? Making us think it's the Commonwealth, but we don't know it's the Commonwealth. It's one of those things that maybe it's a little bit too obvious. It's Toledo. Because why would they have do you think that they have an interaction with the Commonwealth at this point, or at least enough of one where they have a road sign pointing to Toledo? That almost seems like a joke. Okay, I understand. I understand Myco the Psycho. But Toledo is also, if they're still in the Alexandria vicinity, which they probably are, or D.C., Toledo is probably a good, 500 miles from Washington, D.C.? I don't know that we need a road sign pointing to Toledo. That's just kind of random. Yeah, I get it. I'm fairly good with geography. But here's the thing, okay? Let's take the arrows, for example. Toledo and Alexandria and Oceanside, here's where you're wrong. Okay? I'm gonna bring some closure to this. Okay. Alexandria is by the Potomac River, right? Oceanside is on, you guys are gonna be like, Kills is pretty smart dude. This guy, he figures things out. Oceanside is the ocean side. It's the Atlantic Ocean, probably Virginia Beach. Toledo is the other direction. So you can't have a sign if you're to the left of Alexandria. Let's say you're in, I don't know, wouldn't even be Arlington. Let's say Fairfax, Virginia, something like that. Okay. If you're to the west of Alexandria and you're going to the right, then Toledo could not be Toledo, Ohio. It has to be in the D.C. vicinity. So wherever Toledo is to the east, not to the west of Washington, D.C., which would be Ohio. Because Ohio would be to the northwest. Okay? All right. I just want to help. Myco's like, oh yeah, you're right. So, but that's good. It's good that that's on the sign, because I think that it means it has to be either the junkyard or the kingdom. Let me throw this out there as we're breaking through some of these clues. Could the kingdom be over to the east of Alexandria? And could it not be the kingdom? Could it be something that, all the pomp and circumstance is gone? Ezekiel's getting rid of the look. He doesn't have his big tiger anymore. He's just going to be Ezekiel, not King Ezekiel. And they just renamed it, hey, let's call it Toledo. Question for the hardcore comic group people out there. Ezekiel he worked in a circus, right? And he saved Shiva. Wasn't in Ohio, was it? I'm just curious. I'm just wondering if, maybe Ezekiel got... Okay, sorry, zoo. I don't know why I said circus. My bad. What the hell? What the hell am I thinking? It's late. Okay, zoo. You guys got me. All right. Does anybody know where the zoo was? My point. Was the zoo in D.C.? Okay, never mentioned. I'm just looking for a few clues. So I'm going to say whatever Toledo is Washington, D.C. It has something to do with D.C. It's the only thing that makes sense, if they're all in the same direction. So this area that they've set up is a wooded area close to Alexandria, but to the left of Alexandria. So D.C. would make sense because D.C. would be a little bit to the northeast. So it would be along the same lines. All right. Hey, we just solved a problem. We are problem solving tonight. The words from Michonne in the teaser definitely do go along the lines of what we've heard in the spoilers. We've heard that Maggie has Gregory executed, and I guess after that happens, Michonne pays a visit to the hilltop, or headquarters, I guess is we're going to call it. And she finds out that Maggie's been keeping some resources, and I guess she tries to approach her about what happened with Gregory. So that dialogue would make perfect sense where, what we're going to do, how we're going to create the rules, and what we're going to do if people break the rules. Now, if Gregory is hung, and I don't know, a lot of us disagree with Gregory dying if what they said is true, where he tries to get Earl to kill Maggie, if Gregory's behind it. But at the same time, I do think that not having a conversation about it, not having other people involved, might hit Rick the wrong way. Would you guys agree with that assessment? Jimmy's Jammin' says, Gregory a victim of Maggie's frustration. Well, but I'm not saying it's not warranted. And I'm okay with that. I'm very much okay with The Walking Dead. I like to call it the gray area, and Fear the Walking Dead did it so well. I'm okay with them straddling the line between right and wrong, where there's a little bit of wrong, but maybe people overreact and it's a little bit more wrong. Like they jump to conclusions, or they punish before thinking it all the way through. And I'm not saying let me say this again. I'm not saying Gregory doesn't deserve it. But also at the same time, if you're going to publicly execute someone, some people need to talk about the consequence of that before it happens. That's the only thing. And maybe you still do it, but maybe you don't. But that does follow suit. So Jonathan Black says, kills. The 999 Army's almost at 100K. I think a little bit more exposure, Jonathan. I think a little bit more gaming, a little bit more predictions, a few more streams, a little bit more Comic-Cons and Walker Stalkers. and we might push to 100K. I would love to see it happen. I'd love to see all of you and this channel grow just to those levels. I think we can get there. Just may take us a little time. Super chat shout out to Valar. Valar says, hello 999 Army, Kill Steph, Emmy Kelsbury, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, patrons, and of course, all the super chatters. Thank you so much. Appreciate everything that you guys do. So Spaz says, it's not a democracy. Rick doesn't have to consult with anyone. But maybe that's what they're trying to get to, Spaz, is so it's just not all these reactions. That there is a society. Jenna says, Kills, do you think we'll see Dwight this season? Absolutely, we will see Dwight. There's a lot of comments coming up. I'm going to pick a couple of them here. I do want to say, and this is from... Let me tie something in. There was an article that came out, I think, in Vanity Fair, one of those vanity magazines, and it was Robert Kirkman, and then Robert Kirkman was at the panel. So let me start with the article and talk about what he said, and then also what questions were asked to him. And this is from The Walking Dead Nerd as well. Well, I'll get to that in one second. So in the interview with Vanity Fair, Robert Kirkman almost verbally committed that Andrew is leaving. He didn't quite say it verbatim, but he said this. He said, they said, is he leaving? He said, it certainly looks that way. And he says that I've known Andrew for a decade, and he's been sweating in Georgia for 10 years and hasn't spent time with his family. So Kirkman validated in so many words what was reported in the article. So I don't know if we can get any more other than that, than him saying, yes, he is leaving, because now it's two sources reporting the same thing. That's not a coincidence. But there were some other things that were really interesting, and they said that now the comic and the TV show is going to have a completely different dynamic. Sonya, he's leaving. I mean, I don't think you can keep reporting it and it not happen to some point or another. I don't think he's dying, Sonya, but I do think he's leaving. I'm going to ride that theory till the end. Something is going to make him leave the group. And I think that something is safety. I think he's going to take Judy and Michonne, and I think they're going to hit the road. And I just think that if you're holding on to the hope that Andrew is staying, I think you're going to be disappointed. If you're holding on to the hope that he may not die, you may not be disappointed. And that's really what I'm holding on to. But let's get back into this. So here's from today's panel. This is Robert Kirkman at Comic-Con, and this is reported from The Walking Dead Nerd. So basically, a lot of questions were asked to him, and he did his typical stories about spaceships and kind of went around the topic. When he didn't want to answer something, typical Kirkman, he kind of beat it around the bush. He did say that the full teaser tomorrow is going to give away a lot about the show, and I think we know that. He hinted at seeing Heath again. But he said, when we see Heath again, we'd be surprised. Now, if we're going to be surprised, there's two options. I'm going to give you both of them. Heath's head is on a pike, or Heath went rogue and don't care about nothing. That Heath went villain with another group. I think that would be more of a surprise than Heath dying. But I do think that I think that's where Dwight's story is going to come in. I'll get back to that in 1 second. Let me get to Jimmy's Jammin'. Jimmy's Jammin' says, thank you for that super chat, Jimmy. I'm going to hold on to hope it's a vacation for Rick and he returns in season 10. I'm right there with you. And I'm going to stay with that theory until the end of the season. But he did say, when you see Heath again, you'd be surprised. I mean, he could be lying, but why do a Comic-Con interview? Let me say this. If you're only going to stand up in front of a panel and lie, you're wasting everybody's time. It's stupid to be up in front of a panel. So there is an element of deception, but there's also an element of truth to what many of these people say. And they do it with intent. And our job is to read between the lines and to take these little nuggets, and they are scripted. They get together and say, let's just throw this little nugget out there and see who talks about it, what they say, if they can figure it out. But they're not standing up there to lie. So if Kirkman is saying that it certainly looks like Rick is leaving, I take that at face value. And when he starts talking about his family, and this is a person he's known for 10 years, he probably just wants to wait until Andrew says it. If he says that Heath has been a little bit busy, but you're going to see him again and you'll be surprised, I'm going to take that as one or two things. Whisper or killed by the whispers. And if I had to bet on it, I'm going to say killed. Just because he lost his glasses. I just don't think Heath can see very well without those glasses. I don't think he's going to help that group out. All right, couple more things from the Robert Kirkman panel. He was asked which season was his favorite, and he said season 9 because of what was coming. Now, that sounds like some BS. That sounds like some hype. I think that's the part that he has to say to get us rallied around it. It's still a business, and if he says it's going to be that good, then there's a certain amount of us going to say, yeah, it's going to be that good, and we're more inclined to give it the benefit of the doubt. So, but if he likes it, you know what? Let's wait and see. But of the seasons that were already filmed, he said his favorite was season 5. And I will say this, it didn't happen, but we brought this up in a conversation a couple days ago, and the Walking Dead nerd did try to get up to ask the question, wearing the 999 shirt, if Robert Kirkman had ever heard of the 999 Army, and unfortunately someone in front of her asked a whole lot of questions, and the question never came out. But it will happen at some point. We will pin Kirkman down and see if he knows who we are and what we do. If not, I'll ask him myself next year. I'm just reading through a couple comments here. David, I don't know. I think the panel tomorrow is around noon. So if the panel's around noon, then the trailer might be posted on the last year it seemed like it was posted on the AMC site about an hour after the panel. 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm guessing. If we get it any earlier, we will talk about it. Okay, I got a couple more bullet points that I want to talk about. So, has Negan become the old philosopher? And is he talking to Rick? And is Rick seeking out the advice or the conversation of Negan? Is Rick drawn into this conversation? You think you got this thing on lock. Is that Negan's wisdom? Let me say this. Negan's character is a smart-ass dude. Don't forget that. Hold on. Negan knows people. He knows the psychology of people. And Rick knows that. And Rick tends to trust a little bit. So could it be that Negan is sitting back observing all of this stuff, and Negan's going to tell him something along the lines of, you think you got all this on lock? Finish that conversation. And I'll give you a couple, maybe it'll come out in the trailer tomorrow, but I'll give you a couple of my thoughts of what the next line or two could be. And let's just see. Maggie says he's messing with Rick's mind. I don't know, Maggie. I'm not so quick to think that. Daniel says something is coming to you, Rick. Julie says you don't have a clue, Rick. That might... Julie, maybe not quite that much, because that would be old school Negan. I don't know if we're going to see that quite yet. Just from an audience. You might be right, but from an audience perspective, I think he might just be giving his assessment. So here's kind of what I would think the next line or two would be like. You think you have this on lock, but that widow's waiting to stab you in the back. So, something like that, where he's seeing something that could happen, but he's not trying to take over just yet. Maybe something with Maggie, or something that you're not going to be able to protect them from what's coming next, or the helicopter, or you think you got this on lock, but there's a whole lot of more stuff out there that you don't even know about. Keep in mind, Negan might be privy. You know what? Negan is privy to things that Rick doesn't know and we don't know yet, because they were out there looking for other communities. Negan may very well be the one to talk about Washington, D.C. and some of the other areas that are out there. What if Negan plants that seed? They start running out of food. They start running out of supplies. Remember, Fear the Walking Dead? They had the FEMA location. How do we know that Negan does not have some intel? You think you got this on lock? But Rick, your people are starting to lose faith in you. They don't have any food. You're going to need to venture out. You're going to need to go out and check out some new places. Maybe that could be the little bit of teaser, the little bit of bait that doesn't... I'm just afraid that Negan, if they give him too much arrogance, and then, he comes up and says, you don't know shit about shit, Rick. If they get him into that again too soon, I think it's going to be too tough for the audience too fast. I think he's going to have to be a little bit more humble, just for a little bit, and a little bit of the philosopher until he gets the chance to win the audience over. Just a feeling. I don't know if everybody's kind of warmed up to his character just yet. We need Mel. We need Mel for the hot dogs and the grill. Daniel, I don't know. I have a hard time. Maybe. I got to wait and see how the first Negan scene plays out. Once we see that first Negan scene, we'll know whether or not he's going to bring up a Carl situation or bring up... I think that's water under the bridge at this point. I think it would do Negan more harm to keep bringing up Carl. We know Rick's dealing with that. But let me go back to a prediction that we made 6 months ago. And it is very, very appropriate. It was back in maybe January. So in one of the streams, I don't know exactly which stream, I talked about the benefit of a time skip. And we actually talked about it in several streams, but there was one in particular where I stated that Rick needs the time skip, and the audience needs the time skip, so they stop grieving about Carl. So it's not fresh in anybody's memory anymore. And it wasn't necessarily about Carl at the point, but we talked about the potential time skip and how we're going to be not forced, but we're going to be put in a different universe. We're going to be put in a different time, a different place where you can already see it. Jerry's in love. Rick is doing Rick things. Maggie has had her baby. So in one of the streams, we didn't predict the Jerry love, but we did say we don't want to watch Maggie go through the childbirth and all of that. We want to get past all of that because we've seen that stuff before and we've seen how it can slow the show down. So the first time skip is definitely going to have us, we're going to be watching that and we're going to be asking questions like, wait a minute, like you guys are doing, is Rosita pregnant? Who could she be with? That's going to be a question. We're going to be left to figure out what has happened in the last year and a half. But it's not going to be so boring. They're going to give us little bits and pieces, so we're learning it as we're watching the group. I think it's going to be incredible. I am going to go out on a limb once again. And I did this with Fear, and some of you didn't believe me. And I said, Fear, this season of Fear, give it a chance. I think it's going to blow you away. And in some of our streams, we had many of you rating Fear as the highest. Every week it's like 9s and 10s, 9s and 10s. Every week about how good Fear was. The way they're going to do this with the time skip is going to be good. Trust me on this. If you're on the fence about The Walking Dead this season, trust me when I tell you how much fun it's going to be to try to figure out what they've already went through and what they're getting ready to go through. It is going to be like a complete mesmerizing mind trick. And I think it's going to create so much good dialogue for us, so much good conversation that every week we're going to be trying to figure it out and piece it together. We're going to be piecing together the past and also predicting the future. How much fun is that going to be? And there's probably going to be 2 time skips. So that's going to be completely crazy. And I absolutely agree, Chosen One. I think Season 9 is going to blow our socks off. And if they keep Rick alive, it absolutely will. But even up to what happens with Rick, I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. Spaz says, kills my theory. Rick is thought to be killed by walkers, but it's the Whispers instead. And he's held hostage. Then Negan escapes. See the Whisper camp. Brings him back in the season finale. It's possible. Spaz, I will tell you, that's not an unpopular theory. And in fact, there are several in our streams that have discussed that situation about Rick being surrounded by walkers and the walkers could be the Whispers. I think it could happen. I'm going to hold tight, though. I think Michonne's leaving. I got a feeling Rick and Michonne are both hitting the road. But I'm open to that theory as well. Either one worked for me. Rick gets captured and we're talking about it and we just want to know, is he going to make it? Or Rick leaves and we just want to know, is he coming back? Either one I'm okay with. That's true, Rob. I agree with your comment. It is, Tina. And we shouldn't be surprised at this point. And we shouldn't be pissed off at this point. Because if Rick wants to spend time with his family, if Andrew does, if Denai wants to film a couple movies and leave the door open to come back, we should be okay with that as Walking Dead fans. So I'm going to ask you guys one more time. And I'm going to ask it in a rhetorical, loaded question type of way. As some of the most passionate Walking Dead fans in one of the most passionate Walking Dead forums, the 999 Army, live, interactive forum where your immediate thought is included, responded to either by me or someone else or in a video. You don't have to post it on somebody's website and wait 24 hours for somebody to respond and then log back on and respond. This is live, interactive forum chat. This is what we do. So the question I have for all of you, and just be real. If Andrew and Denai want to leave, as Walking Dead fans, are you okay with it? Don't give me the Rick leaves, I'm not watching the show. If they choose from a personal standpoint to leave, and the show does the courtesy of leaving it vague enough to bring them back, are you here for the long haul? And that's what I want to see, and that's what hopefully AMC wants to see, is just that support. That's not a bad writer. That's not a bad director. That's not a bad showrunner. That's a person that is playing the hand that they're dealt. And they got to do what they got to do. I hope they do it the way we said it, because I'm going to be super, super hyped if they do. But if behind the scenes, Andrew says, hey, kill me off. I'm never coming back to your show. I'm done. I'm ready to walk away. And I got to deal with that too. And on that note, we are 40 minutes in. We're going to wind it down. We'll have a stream, maybe multiple streams going on tomorrow. I want to say thanks to everybody for being here. We will get some more updates. We will post the updates. We're going to talk about the full trailer tomorrow. It is going to be action-packed the next couple days. So I will see you. If you guys aren't doing anything, log in. Times are going to be random. Could be evening, afternoon, night, all over the place. Just watch your notification, because in the 999 Army, we may just throw the thing up there and start talking about it. So over the next 2 to 3 days, we could do 4, 5, 6 streams. So be ready to talk about whatever's out there. When the full stream comes out, or the full teaser comes out tomorrow, then there's going to be a lot more stuff to talk about. We're going to break that thing down. I want to thank all of you. Appreciate you being here. Make sure you guys slap that like button. Come on, everybody. 999 Army, show some support. Hit that like button. When this video goes live, leave your comments. Make sure you share the video. Tell other people to subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. If you guys want the notification, you want to be here whenever we do streams, then hit the subscribe button. Thanks, everybody. Some real quick shout-outs. You guys can type 999 in the chat right now. I'm going to shout out a few people. If you're watching the playback, this is the closing credits, and we will see you tomorrow. I want to say what's up to Lisa, Mock Studios. Lisa Khaleesi, thank you so much for posting that. Hit me up with that tomorrow as well. Rob Morris, thank you so much. Appreciate your thoughts, your comments. Deborah Mooney. Walani, thank you. Maria Favada. Gina Crockett. What's up, Gina? Ghostface, good to see you. Tina, thank you. Chris Rainig. Stephanie Faye, the Gaming Squad. Julie McGuire. Maggie B. Mason Crawl. Drama King, New York City. What's up, Drama King? Sergeant Chosen One, thank you. Jimmy's Jammin'. Valar. Casey, thank you, Casey. Dawn of the Frank, you have a good night as well. Oz Achman, thank you. Samantha W., Diane Estes, Groove 172, Garrett Farmer. Sherry Wenzel, thank you, Sherry. Samantha Coombs, Dakota Page, Six Eyed Sports. Ty Beth, thank you. Hey, I hope all of you are here. We're going to do multiple streams just because we're getting people in different time zones, and I just want everybody to get a chance to participate over the next couple days. Baptized, thank you for being here. Will Saint as well. We got a saint and someone baptized by Jesus, back to back. There you go. Also, my moderators, Steph the Cuervo Queen, Emmy, Tommy, Kel. All the Walking Dead, Our World AR gamers out there, thank you so much. Do want to give a special shout out to all my gaming fans, because before we were doing Walking Dead chats and forums and live streams and all of that, there was a small group of gamers that really very loyal to this channel, have been here for a long time. So if you guys get a chance, check out the Walking Dead augmented reality game, Our World. We're having a lot of fun playing that, a couple different 999 groups. But my gaming crew is always going to be close to my heart, so thank you so much. Nikki Ree, thank you. I appreciate that. Alexander Santos, thank you. Julie, there's a threshold. I think 100K, maybe a Comic-Con stream, maybe. Let's build up a couple things, and we'll talk about it. There's a few thresholds. We're going to build up our sponsorship on the channel. We're going to build up our subscribers on the channel. We're going to build up our Facebook fan page as well. So there's a few things before we start doing 999 Live. But we do have another channel, 99. I can't say it. Sorry, everybody. This is shout out time. This is the end of the video. But we do have another channel set up called 999 Live. It's not active. It is there. And once we hit some thresholds, then you'll probably see a lot more interactive videos. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. Appreciate you being here. And stay tuned a little bit later on. We'll have some more streams. Peace.